Hello everybody, AOG Gaming here, back with another video on Dislyte. Um, Actually, I'm just back with another video in general. Um, so I have some new stuff to say and some stuff to say. So you guys know I haven't been posting in a while. I've just had personal stuff to deal with. I'm now back to posting. I feel like this keeps happening. It's just been happening a lot recently. Summer is coming up, so that's definitely going to be me posting a lot more because I'll have a lot more time to do that. Um, I have a lot of free time. Yeah. Technically, I have a lot of free time, but there's just a lot of personal issues that I was going through. But I've dealt with most of them, so I am back to posting videos. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Um, I'm going to post a few more videos, mostly update videos because, well, there's been a few updates. I have been playing, so don't worry. I have content available for most of the games. Some of them I have to check on them and see what I haven't done. The Pokemon game, um, Pokemon Evolutions or Master Evolutions, I haven't done that in a while. Um, yeah, that took a while. Anyway, we're here to on this slide specifically to discuss Nyx and Athena or Elaine and what's her name? Leora. I spent $140 to get all the gems and golden tickets so that I could get Leora or Athena, if you want to call her that. Mostly because you got Nyx for free in this event. So the Star Shuffle. You could have spent Nexus crystals on it, which is what I did. The gems, the purple gems, diamonds, whatever you want to call them. So that did take out a lot of gems. um, you could have probably done it for free, but I got a little late. I probably still could have done it free, but I didn't. I just wanted to rush for Nyx. Um, and then I just did all these other events. So this one, the beard contest, not that one, and I was doing this APEP one, but I got enough records, so I was fine. And the reason why I'm talking about records is because I think I did like 120 pulls. Honestly, I should have filmed it. Um, yeah, it did that. It was ridiculous. I did it like a few hours ago, but it was ridiculous. Amount of pulls I had to take. I did get Brewster, I believe Brewster, whatever his name is. I believe it's Brewster. But yeah, so from this event and this event, you need to collect enough wish stones, and the only way to get them like consistently is through the gold record spins. And I was doing 10, well, 100 like 50, 40 spins easily. Um, yeah, and it took me that much money just to get enough spins so that I could get Leora. And the second event, they did have Heimdall. Forgot her character name, not her god slash goddess name. Um, Elaine, you got it for free. But the reason why I wanted to get both of them, and the reason why I decided to spend money on the game, I think it's the second time. The first time I did it with when you first open the game, you get like that $5 offer for like a 4-star hero to start out with, and I think mine was a controller flow, I believe. I forgot the name. It was AP. I forgot AP controller. I forgot her name. But yeah, they just give They gave Nyx to everyone for free. So everyone who has Athena, Leora, is gonna be stronger against that team. Specifically, if it's on their team, obviously. Um, but yeah, these characters are really cool. That's the only reason I wanted them. And also now that I have them, I can residence them, and I think they make a pretty good duo for like you can literally put these two in any team. Well, not any team, but most teams, and they will either complement or fit in really well, and they're just like a great little duo. Um, they're better at lower fusions when you have both of them. At higher fusions, you don't really need both of them, but having both of them on your team, I don't think really affects them. We'll go over that in a second. Sorry, not fusion, resonance. I keep saying fusion. High enough fusion. Resonance. Oh my god. See, I keep mixing the two. Yeah, and also I got Nyx again in one of the draws where I was trying to get wish stones for Leora. So I'll just show you everything that I got. So I got two legendaries in total, I believe. So I finally so my first well first 6 star, sorry 7 star, now 9 star was Sun Wukong. But he's okay. He's kind of a support warrior, but I don't really use him. Well, I do use him. I used him all the way at the beginning. And I kind of use him now, but he's kind of there just to deal damage. Honestly, if I want to do like a more combo-y team with like, you know, some more buffs or some more synergy, then I can obviously do that. But they're not as strong, just stat wise. But yeah, so actually I got three legendary espers within those 150 pulls. So yeah, well, it's more than I'm guaranteed, which is good. But yeah, so I got one Hades fusion, so now I have another hide Hades fusion. I am thinking of using him now because he actually works really well with Geb, because the buffs he just sorry, the buffs that Geb gives with his passive, Hades just turns into his own buff, and it stacks up. So it's just really good. It's a little bit of cool fusion, but I mean, Geb kind of works on any team because he just slowly increases the damage of your team while healing them, which is honestly amazing. And it's all because of the supporting song. Um, it's just base attack, so it's basic attacks that are going to be. Well, no, but base attack is just overall attack. Um, yeah, so it increases their attack like exponentially, which is really good. For most strategies that are trying to last long. So, for most boss fights, it's actually really good because your team just gets naturally stronger over the course of the boss fight. You last long enough. He makes you strong enough, and um, I think it'll just work really well with Hades. Uh, yeah, because he gets the Breath of the Deep stacks, and he gets 50 of them, but he can't receive the buff. Well, he can, but he receives them as the Breath of the Deep stacks. And the more I put on him, he gets 5 attack and 3 damage reduction, which is good. He basically becomes a stronger and stronger tank. So healing him is just exponentially better as the fight goes on. And I don't know if I'm going to be using him a lot right now, but I'm definitely going to be using him in general. Um, so let's actually just go over the new characters now. So first we'll go over Nyx because, well, she's the new hero that's free. Everyone gets her. If you do the event, which I do suggest doing, there's 3 days left. I'm sure you can do it if you have enough Nexus crystals, which I know most people do because you don't really have a lot to spend them on until you get later on in the game. Um, and honestly, if you've been signing on at least for a week, I'm pretty sure you can get her. You kind of have to get lucky with the getting the crystals in the events or whatever. But she's a fighter. Um, all the new espers have all these complicated and paragraph long abilities, so making videos on them is just getting longer and longer. um these two aren't that complicated, thank god, but some of them are just like, oh my goodness, I have to scroll to read this whole like 3 paragraph ability. So here's her ult, Endless Night. There's no like modifier increases through the levels. It's just damage. So she gains Night Goddess. It's an undispellable buff. She gains stealth for 1 turn. At the end of her turn, the thing is though it lasts as long as she has the buff. So it's weird that it says it only lasts 1 turn. Um, because in the actual like attack description, it says gains Night Goddess for 2 turns. I think she actually gains Night Goddess for 2 turns. Like I've seen her, I've used her, and that's how she acts in battle, or that's how the buff acts in battle. It lasts for 2 turns. Um, but she gains that stealth during the first turn, so I guess it is technically for 1 turn, like fully 1 turn. Um, but then she keeps it as long as she has the Night Goddess. So I don't know why that stealth. It's weirdly worded. But yeah, she basically gains stealth. It's kind of like Esket, I believe that's her name. So let's actually go check real quick. What's her name? Um, by the way, this video is going to be Esper review for the new Espers because the event just ended, and we might talk about the new Espers that are coming out because they already released description, and it was also intro of me coming back and starting to do videos again. Obviously, um, actually, yeah, there's Leora. So yeah, I got Brewster. He's up there. I'll show him later if I have time. But where is? Oh yeah, Instar, right? In Intisar, Intisar Cocket. Okay, yeah, Intisar Cocket. She gains stealth as well, right? Yeah, gains stealth for 3 turns. So there's a few other characters that can do that. So it's interesting, it's cool, but I don't know. It makes you immune to single target damage, so you can't like be targeted, but specifically Lane can be targeted, but she still gets hit by AoE and all the buffs. She still gets debuffed. So it's not as powerful as you think, but it's still pretty good because you can't get like just what is it called, burst damaged out of nowhere, which is just like ton of damage out of nowhere on the lane only. However, that works with Leora Athena. Sorry, man, I'm getting these names. Like I have to remember these names because they're new espers. Remember, I do know their god names slash technically primordial. Nyx is like she's technically the goddess of the night, but she is above Tartarus in the like order of like when night and day were made. So after Gaia and Uranus. So yeah, they're like semi titans. They're primordial goddesses. Yeah, primordial goddess. So yeah, so she gains her stealth, which is really cool. And she transfers 1 debuff from each ally to the target upon a crit. So really cool because as long as she's not crowd controlled, um, from each ally. So I think that means herself, or no, it says from each ally, but a lot of attacks that say that buff the whole team, including that character that is doing that buffing. So I think it also applies to her, but yeah, basically just cleanse your team and then debuff the enemy team, and then it happens upon crit. So you do want to give her a good amount of crit and crit damage. Maybe not necessarily crit damage, but at least crit rate, so she can at least start critting and cleanse her team on her ultimate at least. Um, so yeah, that is just the single buff. So that's just talking about the buff that she gives herself. Now we have to talk about the rest of the ability. Attacks the enemy once, one enemy 5 times. Pretty decent damage. It's 250 attack in total, and then each hit inflicts sleep and buff blocker for 2 turns. So that part is good because the attack or the hits are split up into 5 times. So you don't have, a chance to inflict sleep and buff blocker. You have 5 times. So it's almost guaranteed basically. Unless they have like insane immunity. Leora is oh yeah, if they have immunity, if they have the buff immunity, then they're obviously going to be immune to debuffs. Just keep that in mind. She also gains Night Goddess duration for 1 turn if Elaine or Athena is on her team with War Goddess status, um, which is really good because now she gains it for 3 turns. So basically, it resets when she gets it again, which is really good. Really good. She can just continuously attack. And she's invisible for everything except for 1.5 turns or 2 turns, I believe. I have to like I don't know if I can do gameplay this video, but maybe I'll do one tomorrow because it's pretty late for me. Um, yeah, and also final damage plus 10, but that's because I got um, resonance on her, and that just increases the final damage of her ultimate. So yeah, that's just her ultimate. So becomes untargetable by single target damage. Transfers and cleanses debuffs off your team and transfers it to the opponent upon crits. Makes the enemy miss rate plus 10, which is just like an added bonus. It's not entirely part of her character. And then she inflicts sleep and buff blocker, which is good. Sleep is okay with my teams. They all have AoE, or most of them do. So for their ultimates, or splash. Sun Wukong has a lot of splash, so she's not really good with her sleep debuffs because the sleep they awaken as soon as they're hit. So yeah, it just I don't know. The sleep is okay. I wish it worked kind of like stun, but they would only awaken if they took a certain amount of damage or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just mostly the buff blocker. That's what you're going to be looking for. The sleep is just okay. Um, yeah, so that's her ultimate. That's a lot to digest. Just letting you guys digest that. Here's her second ability, Oblivion Strike. Attacks one enemy 5 times. So again, um, trying to get those confirms on the debuffs. So attack down and sleep for 2 turns. And also stealing buffs 5 times, which is ridiculous. So maybe target buffed characters with this. But you have to make sure it's a character who has dispellable buffs because I believe you can't steal undispellable buffs because it's technically counted the dispel if you're taking off the buff. Um, yeah, I think that's how it works. Don't quote me on that. Um, and also gains +5 damage for each buff. So realistically, you can do up to 59 attack times 5. So what is that? Around 295% attack. So yeah, she's a very strong single target character, and she also can't be targeted. So she's kind of like a sniper assassin. But her damage, she doesn't have a lot of damage and attack in general. She does have a lot of crit damage and crit rate, I believe. So she just has that passively, which is nice. Yeah. So damage 95, attack for her second. Inflict sleep again. It's okay if it's just. I think it'd be powerful in a perfect team, but it's just not powerful in most teams that I can make. While in stealth, she deals extra damage, 15% attack. That's pretty good. So usually you do your second attack after your ult. I mean, that just makes sense. She does extra damage after her ult. So yeah, that's 110 attack for this attack specifically. Um, her attacks don't interrupt sleep. Again, the would be cool if that passive could be upgraded to um maybe just her typing, not your entire team, because that's kind of broken. Um, but yeah, like she is flow, I believe. No, she is wind. So she's a wind type. So maybe say wind attack or esper wind esper's attacks won't interrupt sleep. So you could at least make her sleep a little bit more effective, unless you just want everyone else to make a sleep team, which is going to be very specific, a few characters, and I don't know. Sleep is not a very good mechanic because it can be dispelled, but it's kind of like stun where you can't really do anything. You can't even attack until damaged. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It would be an interesting thing to have a sleep team, but I don't know if I would build that. Just as a personal, point of view. Oh wait, that was her third. Sorry. Oh, why do I keep messing this up? Okay, so that was her third attack. Um, so basically, she just inflicts sleep on every single one of her attacks. She single targets, and she can't be selected. She does take AoE damage. She ignores defense when they're asleep, which is not super helpful on teams that don't work with sleep. Um, yeah, so she's a pretty decent character overall. Obviously, she's better with, um, especially early game with Elaine. Sorry, with Leora slash Athena. Um, Other than that, I mean, she's decent, I guess. She does give 25% crit rate, but that's fine. I do have 100% crit rate on her, so I have her critting pretty hard. To be fair though, Athena wants more crit than her. Um, so yeah, actually, should we go to Athena right now? Actually, no. Let's look at Resonance first. So, um, just because it goes with their abilities. So Endless Night, final damage plus 10. I showed you that already. So her second um resonance level, or should I say 7 star technically, or sorry, 8 star. So one more star in this game. Um, Nyrate has a chance of ignoring some defense when attacking enemies without sleep. The chance increases to 100 when attacking enemies without sleep. So it makes her just better overall, especially when the characters are asleep. Maybe when you get that rare chance, unless you have a full sleep team. If you have a full sleep team, you're going to be dealing some insane damage with Elaine. Otherwise, off chance you do some crit and it does a good chunk of damage. So just good overall. Um, and then for every enemy killed, crit damage plus 15, max plus 45. So only 3 enemies. Effective in subsequent waves. I think that means like you're fighting waves in battles. It continues over, so it only stacks up to 3, but then it stays there, which is kind of a good balance because you have it for that entire like battle, but for each of the rounds or waves, um, you're not trying to get that. You're not trying to kill confirm with Elaine just to get that extra crit damage. Which is pretty cool that she has that extra part. Um, some extra basic stuff, and then Endless Nights. Athena has her version of this too. Leora has her version of this too. Um, Endless Night will, sorry, Endless Night. Elaine will always be under Night Goddess status. That's why I said they're not super effective when they're high resonance together, because they have the Night Goddess effect slash I forgot Elaine's is, or sorry, Athena's is, but we'll look at that in a second. But yeah, it just makes them not really need each other. Like they don't really do anything for each other because now they infinitely have a buff that they both. technically help each other increase the duration, but it doesn't matter because the duration is now infinite. That's the only thing I wanted to say. Um, they are good if you have them against each other. They're good against each other, but I mean it's kind of the same. Um, so here we go. Here is Athena. Um, I'm clicking. Oh, sorry, wrong button. So 88% crit rate on her right now, but we're not going over that right now. So War Goddess. Um, so first we'll talk about the beginning. So gains invincibility and attack up for 2 turns. Really good. Invincibility is one of the most broken buffs in the game. Especially well, it can be dispelled. But like I don't see a lot of teams that do that. Like it's just not something that you like do. It's just something that's just part of espers when you build around them, unless you're specifically going for it. So yeah, invincibility is just really broken when it shows up. It's really annoying when you're against it. But yeah, just take damage, pretty decent. She also gains attack up for 2 turns, so that's pretty nice. 40% attack, which is really good. Dispels all buffs on a selected enemy, can't be resisted. Inflicts crit down for 3 turns. Um, I don't really care about the crit rate down. I mean, it's good against Elaine. Other than that, it's good against characters that do crit or have high crit damage. But it doesn't really affect a lot of like the wide variety of characters. But it's good for some damage dealers, so it's still decent, you know, buff. And also, equipment sometimes just gives a high crit rate, so just putting that down and decreasing damage is just good overall. It only does 50 damage though. It's pretty weak for an ultimate if you ask me, but it's kind of a defensive ultimate. Plus, she does gain 40% attack, so that 50% is technically, well, 50% of 140% of her attack, so like 70% of her original attack, let's say. Um, so it's weakish, but it's still, she gains invincibility and attack up while you're using her. Um, she then inflicts crit rate on all enemies, and then she does damage 105. Oh, I forgot to read this part. Okay, yeah. So yes, thank you for reminding me, Athena. I was being lazy, not reading it all the way through. So it's not a weak ultimate. It's actually pretty decent. Actually, it's a little bit better than I imagined. It's better than Elaine's as an offensive ultimate, not as a defensive. It's pretty good as a defensive with invincibility, but not being able to be targeted is much better for 3 turns. Is much better. um, she gains Goddess for 1 turn before casting this ability, and gains good night or sorry, War Goddess for 2 turns if Elaine is on her team with Night Goddess. So Elaine has higher speed, so she's always gonna attack before Athena, which is good if they're on the same team. And that's the only reason why they're good at low fusions together. Otherwise, I mean, sorry. Actually, you can get a pretty high ascend or sorry, resonance. Like it's only the final resonance that matters, which kind of makes sense because you want these characters to be super powerful when they're not, you know, with a certain esper, so you can have some more creativity to play around with them. Um, and they each gain like their dawn glow, dusk glow effect with the 5% crit damage, and then attacks one miss. Um, so yeah, just very interesting ultimates. It's very good because you basically have a tank and then an attacker, so you have like parts of your offensive and defensive already. So now you just need support and control. And then maybe another attacker if you need or fighter, whatever you want to call them, if you need to deal some more damage, which you probably do unless you have these characters maxed out. So Dawn Guardian grants standoff to all allies below 50% HP for 2 turns, and then for 1 turn for all allies above 50% HP. Basically, really good. Um, Much better than what's his name, Osiris. What is his name? Ollie Osiris. He has his ultimate because it's hers passive. It saves a single character, but and they gain invincibility, so they just stay alive for a little bit. But this character actually like stops them from dying for 1 turn. Um, which you know I would say it's a little bit better because it's like a full team, but there's no invincibility, which kind of sucks. Um, Maybe it should be like um, a war shield where like it takes 1 hit and then it breaks, so it can just absorb 1 hit. And multi-hit attack just go through it, so you would just balance it a little bit differently. But whatever, it's still pretty good, but it's not as good as it could be. It does 150 damage percent attack. Sorry, to one enemy. So again, excuse me. So she does some AOE, but she is still kind of single target. 10% damage for each surviving ally, so up to 40%. So, well, she gains 40%, so 190% attack, something like that. Um, and then obviously, if you have the War Goddess buff on Leora before you cast this ability, she gains 1 duration on that buff. Um, Obviously, you're going to cast her ultimate before the second. Why wouldn't you? It just works better that way. And you deal more damage. You get more, like, it just gives you more confirms. So you would already get this. And it means she has War Goddess for 3 turns. So she gains. Sorry, I should explain War Goddess like completely. But let me finish this part first. Because both of these attacks gain her the War Goddess. So yeah, so her when Leora's crit rate is equal to or greater than the target's, amplifies her damage. The greater the gap is, the more damage is amplified. Grants ally shield right before they take a critical hit. Shield strength based on Leora's attack. So basically, her and Nyx Elaine are anti-crit team that has defense and sniper that is untargetable. So it's a really good offensive, defensive team up, and it stops the crits. So it has kind of like a debuff. Well, actually, this is a buff on her, so it's also undispellable. So it's a guaranteed shield, but they still do the crit. So it's very interesting. But the crit rate is awesome. It's also the more the damage rate is, yeah. So that's why I have 88% crit rate because I want to have more crit on her. And then her basic, because this doesn't have anything to do with her buff, her personal buff. Damage 100% attack on one enemy. Seer for 2 turns. Enemy AP minus 15%. Very good for a basic attack, I gotta say. Minus 15 AP every single basic attack goes really well with my character the character that I have, but I forget her name. Sky Goddess, Egyptian Sky Goddess. Come on, Nut. The Sky God is nuts. Why do I keep forgetting her name? Because she has also AP and control. I'll just show her real quick. TA, sorry, TA nuts. So very good with characters that have AP stealing or AP control aspects. Um, and then you have Nyx. I mean, AP controlling AP is just good in general. So having it on her just makes her even that much more powerful. My favorite part though is at the start of combat resets all Leora's ability cooldowns. Basically makes her a guaranteed like it's a really broken passive. That's all I have to say. She just basically gets free um like at the start of battle, so every wave she just resets her abilities and she gets to do all of this over again, which is good. So that means you just want to keep using her abilities. It gets you early damage, so you don't have to deal with those early rounds really slowly, and you know, heal and then kill the enemy team slowly so that you stay alive and then are able to fight the boss with enough health. Um, Very helpful. I think that's gonna have to end it because we are at 36 minutes already, which is a very long time. I'll release another video explaining some more stuff about them. But yeah, that's just a quick look into those characters and how powerful they are, how cool they are, what I think about them, and what characters I think they go good with. At least right now, I think they're good everywhere. Really, if you pair them up with AP, and then you have a healer, support, and then you have another warrior, a tank, you're solid. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. It really shows your support. Helps me out, keeps you up to date with my content. 52 subscribers last time I checked and going strong. You guys are amazing. Keep going. And I will have more videos out for you guys. Don't worry about that. Yeah, that's it for this video. I will see you guys later. Oh, yeah, Markiplier's in this too. Just wanted to mention that. Very interesting. I didn't know that, but yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, so I'll see you guys later.